Moving on to the next test question, we have to simplify these expressions here, and notice how they have radicals. So starting with number 1, we got root 108 minus root 20 plus root 48 plus root 80. Now, when you get a question like this, what you want to do is just start breaking down each of the radicals individually. So starting with root 108, what can we break that down to? Well, we can divide 108 by 4, so we could say root 4, and 108 divided by 4 would give us what? 27? And then the root 27, we can break that further down. So root 4 is 2, and then root 27, we could break that down into root 9 times root 3. And then root 9 is 3, so 2 times 3 is 6. So 6 root 3 is equal to root 108. If you wanted to get here faster, you could have broke down the root 108 to root 36 times root 3. 36 times 3 gives us 108. And then root 36, this ends up being 6. Right, so we get the same answer. But sometimes it's tough to know those larger rootable numbers that could divide into the number you're working with. So sometimes you got to do it in multiple steps. But anyway, root 108 is equal to 6 root 3. What about root 20? Well, root 20, we can break that down into root 4 times root 5, which is 2 root 5. So this would be minus 2 root 5. And then root 48, we could break that down into what? Root 16 times root 3. So root 16 is 4, this is root 3, so this would be plus 4 root 3. And then root 80, that would break down into what? Root 16 and root 5, right? 16 times 5 is 80, so root 16 is 4, and this is just 5. So we would have plus 4 root 5. So took each of the radicals and simplified them. And now you want to look for like terms. And the like terms are the radicals that are the same. So we got this root 3 and this root 3 here. So we would add the coefficients in front. So 6 plus 4, that gives us 10 root 3. And then minus 2 root 5 plus 4 root 5 minus 2 plus 4 gives us positive 2 root 5. Right, so that there is your final answer, 10 root 3 plus 2 root 5. You can't simplify that any further. And you could check your answer too. You could plug all of this in your calculator, get a certain decimal, plug this in, see if you get the same decimal. They should be the same. That's when you know it is correct. Moving on to number 2, we got 7 root 2 plus 4 root 3 times 7 root 2 minus 4 root 3. So this here is a difference of squares. So we could take 7 root 2 times 7 root 2. So 7 times 7, that gives us 49. And then root 2 times root 2 is just 2. Now, because this is a difference of squares here, we just have to multiply the first terms by each other and then the last terms by each other. We don't even have to FOIL it fully because those middle terms will cancel out. You can if you want, but if you notice it's a difference of squares, you just have to multiply the ends by themselves. So 4 root 3 times negative 4 root 3, that would give us what? Minus 16 times 3, like that. And this would be 49 times 2 is 98, and then 16 times 3 is 48. 98 minus 48 gives us 50. So the answer to this is 50. And again, you could check it in your calculator and then see if you get 50. Again, if you were to FOIL it out fully, so if you took 7 root 2, multiplied it by negative 4 root 3, you would end up with what? Negative 28. Root 2 times root 3 is root 6. So that would be negative, and then 4 root 3 times positive 7 root 2, that would give you positive 28 root 6. So then those middle terms would cancel out, and you're just left with those end terms. Okay, so that's what I mean by difference of squares. Either way, answer is 50. And then number 3, we got 10 plus root 32 over 2. And what you want to do with this is you want to split this up into 2 fractions. So 10 over 2 plus root 32 over 2. 10 over 2 is just 5. And then you want to break down that root 32. Root 32, what can that break down, simplify to? That could be root 16 times root 2. So 4 root 2. Root 32 and 4 root 2 are the same thing. So instead of writing root 32, we would write 4 root 2 over 2. If you remember dividing, you could divide. If you're dividing by a number here, you could divide the coefficient in front by that number. So 4 over 2, that just gives us 2, and then the radical stays. So 5 plus 2 root 2 is the simplified version for this. And again, you could check it in your calculator, plug this in, plug that in, should get the same decimal.